Okay, so we're back. I didn't want that video to get too terribly long, so you probably skipped right into this one. Let me really quick recap what I've done here. So the idea is we're going to have these little stars that run across the screen, and we've got an issue right now. And so what I'm doing is when I create the animator, I'm initializing stars. And so within that, what I want to have happen is I want to set up, and this is where my issue is. Oops, that's not what I wanted. There. I want to set up a set of... Oh, bound must be positive. Interesting. Because it's not set up yet. There you go. So yeah, I found what my issue is. I'm going to set up a set of screens that are going to... a set of stars, that are going to move across the screen. I'm going to randomly distribute them. So I'm using the random math.random function inside of here that's going to go through and pick based off of the dimensions of the screen. Now the issue I ran into is I've giving it a negative number because for whatever reason it starts off as the width starts off as a negative number. I think it's because it's not been shown yet, so I might need to set the animator after the window's visible. So let me try that real quick. If I set the animation after the window's visible, yeah, then it shows up. Now my stars aren't displaying yet, but let's follow it down. So again, the animator starts up and initializes the stars. So my stars, oh yeah, I know why it's not doing anything, but we'll come back to that. So I'm initializing the stars, and so I'm getting the dimensions of the screen. I'm having a random number generator to generate 20 stars. Now I could generate a random number of stars. I could tell it how many stars I want to initialize. But for the number of stars that I've been told, 20 in this case, I'm going to go through and get a random X and a random Y based off of the width and height of this. Again, it's totally random. All the stars could be in the top right corner. I don't know that yet. I don't know exactly what's going on. There's all sorts of variations I can do to be smarter in this. I'm keeping it basic. It's complicated, but it's as basic as I want to do for now and still have it be interesting. All right, so I'm drawing all the stars here, and the problem is I'm not actually calling that method, I think. So if I go back to my paint method, I up front am drawing a star, but I'm drawing a star at a fixed location. What I want to do instead is this dot draw stars for my graphics object, and that should hopefully do better. So now when I run it, there we go. So now I have stars randomly placed all over my screen moving around. And I want to actually follow through and walk through this one more time and so we can see exactly what happened. But now you can start to get a feel for, wow, we're moving through space as it goes there. It looks kind of fun. So again, walking this through from the beginning. I have my screen here. I'm setting it visible and then I'm kicking off the animation. That was important because the screen doesn't have a size, it doesn't have a dimension until it's shown. And so my animator now cared about the size of the screen. So in the animator, when I created it, I'm initializing my stars. And so if I hold down Control and I click there, when I initialize the stars, I'm getting the dimensions of the screen. And using a random number generator, I'm creating 20 random stars. Again, if I wanted to, I could change this number. I could pass in. Let's do that. Int stars. So I can create some number of stars based off of what's passed in. We'll have to fix that code here in a second. Oops. But then for each star that I've been asked to create, I'm getting a width and a height from the dimensions, and I'm going to create a random number from 0 to that width, from 0 to that height, and I'm going to plop a star at that location. It's possible two stars could be on top of each other. Again, it's just random inside of there. In my animation as a whole, I've added the step right up front to draw the stars. Why did I do it right up front? It's because I want the stars to be background. I don't want them going across anything else that gets drawn. Whatever gets drawn first, the top of your code, gets drawn over later on by everything else that comes later on in your code. So at that point, I'm drawing some text, I'm drawing the houses, I'm drawing the lightsaber. I might be showing the lightsaber back and forth, but the important thing is in my animator, I can tell how many stars, let's say 50 stars, let's throw a bunch of stars out there. In my animator, every time the tick happens, I'm going through and calling update stars. And so every time update stars is called, it's going through the size of the map, and it's taking the X location and it's incrementing it by 2. So now that's causing every time it ticks, it redraws, and every time it's redrawing, I'm moving it up a little bit to the right, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the right. So if I go run this one more time, oh man, I got a ton of stars out there. And you can see here I've got 2 stars right on top of each other. If you keep watching these stars, that's where my mouse is. They're 2 right on top of each other. They're going to go off the edge of the screen, and then they come back on the other edge of the screen. At this point, I could continue to get crazy. If I wanted my stars to not just move left or right, I could move them a little bit of an angle as well. Let's say I want to turn a little bit. I could not just update the X's, I could update the Y's. So at this, let's see, so when I do update stars, I'm updating the stars X's here. I could do the same thing with the Y's, and I know it's Y's because I designed it to be this way. I just have to change this to 1 and 1, and then copy this down here as well, and change this to get height. And this could go back to 1 and 1. Now, if you're curious what I'm doing here, I created an array of the stars where 0 is X and 1 is Y. And let's say I don't want it to go quite as fast up and down. Let's change that to a 1. I change this over here, and then all of a sudden you can see my stars are walking as an angle. If I want them to go largely down, I could change this to be a 5. Oops, hit the wrong button. And I go run this and see they're going really fast down. Again, it's all about your decisions. It's all about your choices of what you want your code to work with here. So I'll share this code with you. This is something you're going to be able to see, something you're going to be able to play with. This is not something I'm expecting. You do not have to do this level of animation. For those of you who are curious, I wanted to show you how you can do this level of animation. And now you have a full example with source code to be able to go off and check it out and see where it goes from there.